Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy. I musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces. Witamy wszystkich na 274 warsztatach poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim. Dzisiaj mamy czwartek, 11 lipca 2019 rok i tematem jest kontynuacja 282 warsztatu. Jest to tłumaczenie z języka angielskiego na język polski i to jest czas od godziny do godziny 31 minut do 2 godzin 22 minut i mamy kolejny warsztat 283 i to jest czas od 29 do godziny 11 minut. Tak więc po tym podzielimy się wiedzą, swoim zrozumieniem. Tak więc zapraszam do obejrzenia i wysłuchania.
We invest for you to develop. We invest for you to become proud of what you are. We invest to create jobs on the edge of science, and what is earned by our investment pays for your nation to become more comfortable, to have. As I said, we take no money out of no nation. but we are one nation, so the money can go where it's needed to help and to develop. The structure of the Keshe Foundation, what I have set up, is the way the universe works, and better for man to learn faster. This is how we operate, and it's a trial run for mankind to see how it's done. And this is how it will be. I thank you, all of you, for supporting, believing, and working for past years in different parts, in different ways to achieve this. And as I said before, I thank the whole of the Keshe Foundation worldwide, the Chinese, outside China, the administration of Chinese government, the American structure, the American government, the Iranian government, then all of us, the Saudi Arabians, the Indians, the British, the Germans, the Austrians, the Italians, the Ghanaians, every one of us have shown our weaknesses and our strengths as one nation, one foundation. And what I promised, I have delivered. But I hope mankind can carry this gift with what is my wish, to create peace. And I thank you for all the time you spend in learning and teaching. And I thank the soul of mankind that now is maturing to the point of final destination, to become free from everything, all the shackles which he made for himself. Thank you very much. If there are any questions in relation to what we announced, I'm prepared to answer if I know the answer. If not, I might not answer because I think it's not the time to answer.
Mr. Keshe, well, first of all, your whiteboard's open there. I'm not sure if you know it's still, we've been watching just
yes,
the blank whiteboard for a while. Okay, that's good. White is good.
Yep.
I have a question in regards to the international role of Canada and the way things are playing out on the world stage. Canada's in a sort of a strange position in between the US and China, in a way, with this disagreement over the Huawei communications company and their the daughter of the head of the company being detained by Canada currently, and all of that, the extradition, the idea of extradition, which has also come up with Hong Kong recently in the relationship with China. I'm wondering what your opinion is, or how can that position be looked at differently, this idea of extradition. And we know that when you came into Canada, 10 years ago or whenever it was, you got detained for 11 days and were harassed and whatnot as a part of this similar process where it was a stopover flight. They take you off the flight and bingo, you're busted essentially, even though in both cases no laws in Canada were broken, as far as I can tell. So, but yet we're doing the bidding of the US in a way, but yet we have the ability to say no and stop the whole process at the same time. What would you advise in this, or give us some light on it?
We don't have advice. As I said, I've been there. I've walked the path, 11 days. fighting between the different forces. How they're going to take me out of the airport without anybody seeing me, keeping me awake 24 hours a day to disorientate you, taking me to a kangaroo court inside the airport or facilities, telling me if I talk, I'll be executed. This is Canada 8 years ago. We're not talking about last century. Canada has done a lot of wrong things to keep the Americans happy, and now they're happy because they got still an aluminium sold without, because they're going to put pressure on Iran, and we've seen all these games. We see the same thing. As I said, we released the letter we received from our lawyer. You don't want to see what we have to release more in the coming days. The Belgian police has issued 3 months before this court case a warrant for me and Karen to be terrorists, and they took it to the Interpol, they took it to the Americans. The Americans laughed at them, said he's not a terrorist, we don't accept it. So they went back and they came up with medical reasons. In April, in March of 2014, after we escaped from Belgium without being killed, and they realized we have protection of Italians, the same police officer issued a false warrant as me being a terrorist in Caroline, took it to the Americans. Americans said, no way. So he changed the same court number, case number, to practicing medicine. They couldn't find out, so they were after something. We showed this one. This is one of the evidences in the court, how they switched, because they couldn't get the criminal records. They couldn't get the terrorist. So they thought we don't have. But it's the same thing. The same people issued this warrant in America that I'm a terrorist, and I was stopped in international transport. Airports are international grounds, and they put me in the kangaroo court. We don't give you refugee. I didn't ask for refugee. You told me if I don't, you put me in. I'm already living in Europe. I don't need you. The problem with Canada is that you have to understand, and I've said it before, every day when they put me, they close one section of Toronto Airport, that all the American, European intelligence who were sitting in the kiosk next door to me, sending a message to the guy who was interviewing me every day, 10, 12 hours. He said, I have to ask. Even the Prime Minister of Canada asked him a question, ask him this question. I said, what's this? He says, the Prime Minister. He's asking, you have to answer it. So it wasn't that the government didn't know. The Blackberry family knew, because the family of the friend, the friends of the family, they were told, don't touch. This is an illegal activity. We don't want anybody to know. So the government is aware of doing illegal. I have warned the Chinese government what's happening with Huawei. You got to understand the position of Huawei. The advanced technology like mine, now we're seeing how we are backed by the Chinese. Very advanced. 10 years ago, you can imagine what we were, these people couldn't even understand. Huawei is more or less in the same level, 10, 15 years ahead. They have taken the daughter as a bargaining chip, as a hostage. The rest is a game. And if the father does not give, they kill the daughter. That's all it is. That's what they did with me. With my sister across the glass sitting, and they put a gun to my head. You tell anybody he's executed, you won't see him. And my sister used to cry, don't kill him. The same father is crying, don't kill my daughter. I agree. They're after the stealing technology. This is the Huawei situation. They want the technology from Huawei, he's not giving it, they took the daughter. This is a bandit. You talk about what they call at high seas, this is airport. The same way, Americans have not changed their habits, British have not changed their habits. You know, half of the House of Lords in England, just go on their history, these are the people who stole on the high seas for Queen Victoria. The more you stole, the Queen gave you a knightship, you became a lord. Read the history of the British House of Lords. Queen Victoria increased the number of the House of Lords by those, we call them on the high seas, pirates. 78% of the House of Lords of England are pirates who Queen Victoria, who were pirated from the Spanish on the high seas, they brought back. She gave them knighthood. Now the piracy is in the airports, and the Americans and Canadians are working together. I'm not the only scientist. Howard is not the only scientist. Many scientists have been hijacked by the Canadians in the airports, and the family don't talk because they've been told they'll be executed even if they live Canada. And they're such a chicken, they don't come out of it. The number of scientists hijacked on the piracy by the Canadians on behalf of the Americans, Belgians, French, and German is in hundreds, not Howie and me only. This is the extent of piracy. They talk about stealing technology. Yes, Americans are stealing technology, not the Chinese. And up to now, I have given the same advice to the Chinese administration. Huawei family has to be protected. There is a solution, and the solution sooner or later will be discussed. The way I see, the way America has to be handled is very simple. No trade, close all the ports. We don't need no American goods, we don't need to sell America. Whatever Americans have ordered, we find between another 6.7 billion of us to use, and we cover the expenses. It won't be much. We don't need the American goods. Don't buy. You want to put the tariff, you want to create condition, no problem, you can do. We don't want to sell, and we don't want to buy. Zero trade with America, between European community and Japan and China will force America to join the human race. We are not, this tariff game keeping disturbances in the market is the wrong way to handle. When I don't want your food, I don't come to your restaurant. You can't have my money. When you're a customer I don't like, I don't accept you in my place. The Chinese government position as a leading nation has to be zero. We don't want to trade, we don't want to buy, we don't want to sell. Whatever the Americans have ordered from Chinese factories, Chinese government has to accept the responsibility to sell it to the rest of the world. And if there is no customer, storage will come handy one day. Zero trade. Zero trade with no condition will keep the factories in China running. Americans don't need. At the same time, American factories, farmers cannot export. We don't need. We'll find a solution. You remember when you were naughty in the class, what did the teacher do? Stood you in the corner. You cannot disturb, and they cannot disturb you. This is the only solution. Zero trade with any nation which does not conduct correct. Now we see with Iran. We see, what did they do? They stopped trading China. They took it to Mexico. They started hiring Mexicans. This behavior doesn't stop because they are under such a heavy debts. They're trying to get to the National Bank of Iran. One of the requests of the American government from the Iranian government is you have to give us all the gold in central bank, otherwise we'll bomb. Now we disclose. This is another robbery which is in progress in the background. They want all the gold which sits in Syria too. We are not giving. No giving. No gold transfer from Iran or Syria into the American and British banks. Finished. This is part of the deal. He says we won't land any man because we'll bomb you till you give us the gold. That's all it is. Nuclear is an excuse. We don't need nuclear. We announced many times. Iran does not need nuclear. We have a plasma space technology 100 times more powerful. We will not release gold of no nation, Mexico, Chinese, or anybody else. I sit in the boardrooms without them knowing. We listen to conversation. We listen to the whisper between the ear of the husband and wife in the bed pillow talk. We are that influential. Rothschild, I hope you enjoyed the message. So, this American situation, you see what I did with Hillary Clinton. She was ordering day by day what they do with me in Canada. Destiny. She comes to Iran to talk peace. She finished diplomatically, politically with a brain damage. She created me a brain hemorrhage. She took it herself for life. Now imagine what we can do with the rest of the people who behave this way. Doesn't matter, Iranians, Americans, Germans, or whatever. I gave you some hints before. She touched me. She got touched. You touch Natanz, I touch you beyond. I don't need the Iranian army. My wish is my command. 1 to 1,000,000. You choose. You touch my cousins. I don't need to touch. I turn the earth against you. Have you had enough flood? You want more? You will swim all these ships to get into Texas and Dallas. That much water, I'll cover United States. Play the game. Canadians have played this stealing game of technology and benefiting by it a long time. It's not the first time. I'm not the only one, and how we capture is not the only thing. As I said, now they thought they win. Suddenly we get a letter from our lawyer, send us a blank letter, we sign it, you sign it, and we write it whether we like. Yes, I accept all the guilt. I'm prepared to spend the prison sentence. Now you know why he's asking for a blank paper, don't you? It's a criminal offense, asking for a blank letter by a lawyer. It's an email, so it cannot be denied. As I said, we run this case this time as is an international case in public. Nothing to be hid. And it's the same with the highway. The Canadians have stopped becoming or being part of pirates. It's a modern piracy in the airports. Now they can't be captured. The strange thing is, 2 days before she flies to Canada, they killed the most eminent Chinese scientist who was working with her because he would not give the information to the Americans. They killed him to tell to Huawei, we do the same with your daughter. Now we understand. I said in one of my recent talks, Do you remember where they took all the, what they call terrorists in Cuba? Do you remember the prison they built? Guantanamo Bay. Canada has become the same for scientists and intellectuals used by the Americans. Don't tell me, I've been there 11 days. They emptied my suitcase, they printed everything, and they're so stupid they left half of the what they printed in my suitcase. They were in such a hurry still. 11 days, they couldn't copy enough. There is still another child. They do their misconduct. At the moment, Canada is on the watch for stealing, being collaborator in stealing technologies. You will see it coming up very soon. China is not going to sit silent, and many other scientists. Canadian passport will be a dangerous passport to carry, because nobody will give you entrance. Who are you planning to hijack until next time? This is what will come up. We will see. But the beauty of it is, the more they took, the more knowledge is getting spread. The Americans are after the technology of Huawei to bring their 5G forward. And the only way they tried to negotiate with the Chinese, they couldn't get it. Now they kidnapped the child. It's actually a kidnap. That's all it is. It's not the extradition. They're just putting in the look on it. That is extradition. It's not the extradition. This is a hijacking. This is a piracy by two states. If I was Canadian Prime Minister, I'd release the grill straight away, because if the Chinese take the path of now understanding how many of other scientists have gone through the same, but they don't talk, yeah, because they told them they kill their family in China, they kill their family in Europe, in America. So you give what you have. This is the bandit piracy by Canadians on behalf of the Americans and Europeans. It's not just Canada. Canada is a corner that nobody can reach, so we do whatever we like. I've been there, 11 days of it. When I walked off the plane, the officer says, Mr. Keshe, I've been waiting for you 3 days to speak to you. I said, I received my visa less than 24 hours ago. He said, oh, that was all planned to get you here. So they planned it. It's not coincidental. And my suggestion to the European nations who are part of the robbery and what are called piracy is very simple. Stop trading with the United States. Zero trade. We don't want to. You know, when you have a child you can't handle, you close your says, go away. When you become following the rule of the family, you're welcome. I don't give you anything and I don't want anything. I still love you. The United States has to go to a zero trade by all the nations. And China, as one of the richest nations, has to take the responsibility of setting a distribution that whoever has sold whatever to America cannot go bankrupt. We take over, we find a solution. There should be a structure set by the Chinese government as a world leading nation with a financial capability to find position. What happens now that we are getting rid of this, what we call the United States, the way we are going, by floods or whatever else, to the companies who are selling to America. There is the company that was selling is gone and the earthquake is finished. What the company is going to do? Bankrupt? Or the government will find new market for you. We find a way that you don't lose. This is the correct conduct of the nation. This is what we advise. You don't need to create wars. You want to fight? I'm not a fighter. I'll walk away. And that's the only solution. Major nations, you expect to trade with China, you follow the international rules. Somebody is disobedient, none of us will deal with you. You know, when you're a naughty child, the whole family cuts you off till you change your behavior. When you're a drug addict, nobody lets you in your houses because you're in danger. You steal anything to feed your habits. America has become addictable to bombing and killing, so we don't want you. Do whatever you like. You carry arms, you're not allowed. You sell arms, you're not allowed. We have better things to do. In 1990s, Caroline and I, we used to work in Antwerp, in Belgium, and we came to know a very rich man who was art dealer. And he knew that my companies could afford buying or sorting out his massive wealth of art he collected over a lifetime. He took us to his house. I've seen the most exclusive things you can never imagine in his house. And he showed me the first time Iranian glassware, some 2,000-3,000 years ago. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Under the dust under the staircase. I said, what's this to you? He said, my children, because of my wealth, have become drug addicts. I want to sell everything before they sell it for a quarter, a tenth of a price to feed themselves with their habit. At least I know what I get for them. I spend a lifetime. And this is what we have with the human history now. We have saved the lifetime. We don't need to give it to these addicts who are selling it and spending it. They want to be the rulers. We need to save the humanity by our conduct, not by misconduct. And my advice has been to them, to the Chinese administration, to Europeans. We do not want to trade. China-American trade is 1.5%. But when China stops all Apple's import to any commodity, any electronic system American Apple company needs, cannot go from China, Apple will collapse. Half of the Walmart cannot trade. Do you know that 100% of all the curtains Americans use comes from China? Not a single curtain is produced in the United States anymore. And I'm sure 200 million houses Chinese can find to give free gift every day. The factory can do or half price to 1.4 billion Chinese and the Europeans and the others to put the curtain up and still keep the factories going. We do not need the trade with United States. We do not need trade with Iran. We do not need trade to any nation which creates conflict. Because when we don't trade, we don't boycott. I don't want goods. That's all it is. We don't damage them. It's for them to find a solution for themselves. Now, what do we do with the Canadians? Very simple. First of all, we are claiming damages against the Canadian government. What they've done with me 11 days, threatening to kill. Ex-Canadian Prime Minister has to stand judgment in the court. The gentleman, the officer, his name is released, all his ranking is released, for threatening to kill has to carry a life sentence. We'll get him. I have all his detail. I know where he is nowadays. With his Dutch wife. Do you want to know more? We don't let people just walk away. If I know what's happening in governments, I know what's happening in the guy's home. So, what are we going to do with Huawei? Americans claim the Chinese are stealing, but they have opened the Guantanamo Bay and they're hijacking on the high seas of the airlines. That's why they want a list of passengers. Everybody thought the American want a list of terrorists. No, they're looking which scientists are on which flight. How can we do what we can steal? What is the process? How much is value? Mr. President Trump, Keshe Foundation in my name, worth trillions now. I have backing up tens of billions by a nation, and in your nation will raise more. How are you going to hijack me? How much do you want to be paid for my head? Now, my life wasn't for my science. Now, we have a financial value. Most probably become one of the richest men in the world. But in the name of the Keshe Foundation. And for Keshe Foundation. So, what do we do? What is the next time I'm afraid to get on the airline that I get hijacked by the Americans or the Canadians or I know the Belgians or whatever? The announcement today is a nightmare for Belgian government, asking for a letter unsigned by a lawyer and now receiving finance to finance factories in massive scale around the world. I'm a criminal fraud for 12,000 euro, worth 12 billion euros, sir. We bring the King of Belgium to justice. Both ex-king and the present king will disclose later. My problems with the British regime started when Philip went and saw the technology. I'll give you all the paperwork. Prince Philip, King Philip, good morning. You got the message. The father, the like the son. The day, that time Prince Philip came to the company where I was developing the space technology with the Belgians, my problems started. The plan of stealing started from the day. We have a date, we know which day, and all his data can show he was in the company. And 2 weeks later, the company was sold for millions to the British. They said, we have the technology, we have the key, but they didn't have. And the British government, what do you call, bought the lie. There is a lot to be released in what has happened around Keshe Foundation in my life. I devoted my life to man to bring peace. Now we have found a partner. We carry on, nothing changes. I still eat the same bread, and I still sleep in the same bed, and I still love the same things with my children and life which comes with it. But we know what's happening, what's going to happen with Canada. It's not only Canada. There are 2 other countries which started stealing, hijacking scientists too. I released those in time. Many top scientists, Islamic top scientists, are stolen in Hajj in Saudi Arabia. When people go for pilgrimage, they're now pronounced dead when they don't give the technology. Now you want to know what's happening in the Islamic side? Welcome. There are 2, 3 pirate places like this. It's not just Canada. We saw Iranian scientists disappearing. How come only Saudi we see leading Arab nation scientists suddenly dead or they disappear? When they go for Hajj to see their God, they meet their God in the real physical condition of death. Do you want me to tell you more? In time. And ask who they learned it from the same people who sell them arms. I think President Trump must have had a shock in us explaining what they did in Iran past week. But is that right? They had to find that their citizen doesn't get damaged, but it's a game of chess game they play. And they thought, now we got the upper hand, we do what we like, we threaten, we're gonna flatten, they're gonna be President Trump. I advise you, don't touch Iran. Come to peace. Find peace. Because Iran is within me. And I don't like a heartache. Touch me. You know, my son called Christ, he said, I have run eye to her too. Let's talk peace. Find a solution. You think you got the upper hand, but don't forget there is a second technology you have no access to. That's your nightmare, not what you captured. Man in a time of win becomes humble, not arrogant. And this wasn't humbleness we saw. This arrogance which has no room. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
I think I made it clear to your government, huh?
Well, something needs to be done because the rules are just too arbitrary, it seems. Who gets stopped, who doesn't
There is no
get stopped.
rule since when the hijackers had the rule.
Well, that's right. When do pirates have rules?
A rule. We don't get it, you walk the plank. No, you don't get it, you become a terrorist.
They don't even have rules among themselves. So yeah.
You see, you have to understand.
Code.
Yeah. Let me explain to you something very important. What President Trump is after. This, in a way, is a good way. President Trump is a financier in building, in construction. That's where he's made his money. When we negotiated with Obama, we negotiated an industry. Boeing, IBM. Look at the offices of these government countries, these companies from America who were in Iran. While America pushed the European and other nations, nobody can negotiate with Iran, sign any contract. All the American big companies had their offices in Iran negotiating. They signed memorandum of understanding with the Iranians. By the time Obama withdrew that everybody can negotiate, when the Europeans went in, everything was signed by the Americans. Nobody knows this. So Boeing took all the deals. Airbus couldn't get much. Peugeot came with the idea of, okay, we give our old machinery to Iran. They can do something. At least France has got some access. And they found out the Americans have looted everything. It's one of the reasons they don't go with America now. This time, you have to understand, Trump is a construction man. He wants all the construction deals in Iran to his companies in name of his children and other organizations he has. He's extensively involved in India now. Now you understand why building of the wall suddenly becomes secondary. Now they think they're going to win. He wants all the building contracts in Iran through his companies. That's all it is. This is a personal money-gaining system. Nobody knew this. Now you understand. Iran, you have to understand the position of change of Iran. In 1972, in 1990s, Iran income 90%, 95% was from oil. Today, Iran's national income, 30%, 35% is from oil. That's why Iran is, they say Iran is suffering. Yes, there is some problem. But the Iranians have changed. They invested the money into industry. Huge. Aluminium, chemicals, chemical plants, everything. That's how they try to tell people Iran is crippling. Yes, we need some things, but Iran has moved from oil industry to industrial industry. Oil counts for less than 30–35%. That's why we can stand it. Now, what Trump administration, his family and the Israelis are after are the construction contracts. And one of the reasons they stopped the steel from Iran and they went to Canada, because now they want to use the steels once they come to Iran for the building construction work which they want to carry. The game is very open to us. It wasn't that they put a boycott on Iran. They want the steel in Iran. They want to make another Paris, whatever, out of Iran. But this time owned by Trump's family. It's colonization by family. We are aware of what's going on. It's not so simple. Actually, it's that simple, but that is stupid to be simple. The threat of bombing Iran brings with it Russia into game. It brings other nations into game. There are Russian officers in Iranian nuclear power station built by them. You kill a Russian, they said if it was one American in the plane, they would have done no loss, no life loss. Do you think the Russians are going to sit on American killing them? The game is much bigger than the bluffs played. Don't forget, there is something you have to understand about the psychology of man. The biggest casinos in America and around the world, in so many ways, are owned by Trump and his family. He's a gambler, he's a poker player. I call a bluff. If I win, I take. But this time we call this bluff. Good morning, Mr. Trump. You're dealing with God, not the man on the street. You play the game. Peace is the only alternative. We want peace across the planet. Not just in one place or two. Very direct. You never find a man to speak so direct because I have the power to do it.
Mr. Keshe, I have a question regarding the idea of Armageddon, and it seems to be ingrained into the background mentality of some of the individuals on probably both sides of the coin of conflict, and that seems to be powering some conversations. They're actually looking forward to this time when there's mass upheaval, chaos, and bombs falling and fire from the air and all that kind of stuff, fire and brimstone.
No, we don't need that. We don't need that. The Americans have brought it because it's there for them to do. They think they can do. They bombed Vietnam. Trust me, they lost Vietnam. They lined Yugoslavia. You remember? They lost. Who win? Because the Eastern Bloc is under Russian control.
Yeah, but it's part of the. I'm thinking it more of maybe it's more of a religious thing, where it's part of the prophecies of the Bible or of the various other religions besides the Bible also have these concepts of.
We always been frightened from things not to do, and the end will come. Now we know the end is in our soul.
Exactly. That's what I was going to get to. It's misinterpreted as it has to be the end of all the physicality world and so on, but it's an internal process. It's the breakdown of our conditioning and of our ideas that we kept about war and so on for the last millennia. It's being dissolved now. It's a different scene.
You see, there is something very interesting. You have to learn to listen. You have to learn to listen. In talk with last week that I did not agree to kill 150 people, civilians. Listen to the word civilians, people. There is thousands of military people in these camps. They are not counted. You understand? So to him, as a gambler, thousands of Iranian soldiers in these bunkers do not count. He talks about 150 lives, civilians. People have not listened. People have to learn to listen. And so in that process comes a lot of understanding. I gave a lot of warning because what they were planning, what they were doing, we hear from them while they're planning it. We sit inside them. American administration is going crazy how much we know in their movement, the same with Iran. Because the life of a man is a voice box of his soul. You do not need to be to hear. And the sooner the man understands this, the easier it becomes the job to get done. I want to know how many Americans will be in Iran, how many Europeans will be in Iran signing new contracts for new development and construction. Trump family and its cronies, they're all sitting waiting. Negotiation is you pay with the gold from Iranian central bank. British were happy with the oil. And then we see what's happening. Refineries one by one burning and damaging because they cannot sell the oil the government has given them and it's damaged them. They have to burn it to get the insurance money. Now we blame Iran. We are very aware of what's going on. Today is to celebrate the peace with a great peace. We haven't started it and we start financing it. And I hope the American administration here might heed the same as the Union. Get off your back horses and start talking and find a solution for the arrogance, not for the nation. You got to understand, Americans were so happy they go to the G20 and they say we have access to all the Iranians, we're gonna force them. They didn't know, we already know, and it's already shared. It's very much, if you look at it, you know, the British found the box where the Germans were what do you call it, sending in messages, and they start decoding once they found the box. You know which one I'm talking about? The name of, what do you call it? The name of the box, the communication box in the Second World War. The situation in Iran was the same thing. Last week they found out the decoding box, but that part of it. And don't forget, the Iranians are very busy to change the code as the rest. And immediately they announced we're going to have a cyber attack. Yeah, the Enigma box. This sudden announcement of the cyber attack is only because they had that plane they found out. You see, if Iran would have shot the other plane, 25, they said the Americans have been killed. Now we have an excuse to go in. But they put that for them to say this was a Trojan box. In a way, if you understand what it means, this drone. They wanted to test what they learned with the Mason. Because they found out how it's done, but they couldn't get it. Now they send the second one and they thought. But there's a very bad news. It's like when you play poker, you gotta know which card to call. Iran called for 2 cards at the beginning of the game. You called 1 card down. Second one can reach Washington in no time. This is what we're trying to avoid, creating peace. A lot of people don't like the way I talk, but that's the only way it is, that they all know there is no hidden games. Nothing is hidden, we see all of it. Any other question?
We have a hand up with Dean here. Go ahead, Dean.
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Hello. Where are you from?
Sorry, I'm Dean from the UK.
Yeah.
Just to lighten the note a little bit. All this information has been quite staggering. But I'd just like to lighten it just a little bit, because I had an experience that I've not disclosed before. Because I don't
want to know today.
You don't want to know today?
What do you have to know? Not next time. What do you want to know about today?
But today. My question would be then about flying to the moon. And that was what my experience was about.
The position with the new advanced technology is that nobody needs to be astronaut. You don't need any training. The new space development is that you are part of the structure, if you want to go physical, would like everything else, in creating 1G inside the system, you are like getting on a jet plane. You know, the olden days you used to do this and that to become a pilot, to get on a plane and do whatever, and now we had the astronaut. It's past, it's obsolete. So when you travel with 1G, none of us have said many times, you don't go a class for, it's not like learning driving, huh? There's a guy who knows how to drive, or how to fly, we call it the pilot, and 200 of us get in the same box. And don't change anything. We go with the same summer clothes, somebody gets with the winter clothes, and at the end we all get up and go wherever we like. The new space technology is the same.
When will this happen?
We're giving a guarantee to the Chinese government 12 months from signing of the contract. We are waiting for them to decide. They are deciding.
Okay.
We need to set up the research center, and whatever we have promised to the Chinese government, we have come up with. That's why they support us.
And can this be for the normal man on the street as well?
What do you mean? This is for the man on the street.
Okay, so
at the beginning it'll be very interesting. You know, all the celebrities want to go to the moon. Nobody's been there. All the generals want to go there. You know, when they do capturing or do something, you know, they build something new. All the top guys want to be there. We achieved it. We'll have that for a few months, and then man on the street will pay $56 to go to the moon. Or so a lot of them go free because we get enough profit that we don't need to get paid.
that sounds good.
It's not it's reality which will come.
Well, that sounds even better. I think mankind's been waiting for this for a long, long, long time.
We came to deliver.
Thank you. Mr. Keshe, I'd just like to say as well, I'd like to thank you and your family for all that you've gone through for us, for humanity. It's been quite amazing what you've actually gone through and what you've shown to the world. And I would like to thank you from my soul for what you've done. I truly thank you.
We have started a new journey with the support of the most powerful nation on this planet, under the basis of creating wealth, on the basis of our knowledge cannot be used to harm no one, and on the basis of changing life for all of us. Any other question? I prefer to close the day today if it's not, because we have talked a lot about peace and what is to happen. And please, those of
Dziękuję. Mamy koniec tłumaczenia drugiej części 282 warsztatu poszukiwaczy wiedzy. Tak więc nie wiem, robimy przerwę, Przemku, czy jedziemy z dalszym warsztatem?
No nie wiem, ja tutaj ze swojej strony bym za dużo w sumie nie omawiał, bo w zasadzie tutaj redaktor Keshe wszystko powoli tłumaczy. Jaka jest sytuacja ze Stanami Zjednoczonymi, z Huawei, ze wszystkim po kolei, więc tutaj nie mamy, można powiedzieć, wiedzy plazmowej do rozbierania na czynniki pierwsze, tylko tak informacyjnie w zasadzie cały warsztat był takim wyjątkiem od reguły, czyli zamiast poszukiwania wiedzy, gdzieś tutaj było poszukiwanie prawdy w tym kawałku, więc chyba, że ktoś ma jakieś pytania albo chciałby coś ze swojej strony dodać albo poruszyć, co zaobserwował, co zrozumiał z tego, co może zostało powiedziane między wierszami, jak nie, to możemy śmiało, myślę, do następnego warsztatu skoczyć.
Dobrze, to zaczniemy kolejny warsztat, jeżeli nie ma pytań. Tak więc zapraszam.
Ja bym miał pytanie, Paweł.
Tak, tak.
Sorry. Akurat się podłączałem, także sorki. Ja mam w sumie takie pytanko ogólne, bo troszeczkę jak gdyby jest to dla mnie zamazany obraz i może to możecie mi zrozumieć to bardziej, bo w tym tutaj wykładzie, jak żeśmy czytali, w ogóle dzięki za tłumaczenia, było tutaj dr Keshe wyraźnie mówił, nie handlujcie ze Stanami, dopóki powiedzmy produkują tą broń lub są tymi podżygaczami, że tak mogę powiedzieć, do wojen, czy w ogóle do czegokolwiek zbrojnego na świecie, to jak to się ma w gruncie rzeczy mówienie nie handlujcie z nimi w stosunku do tego, co teraz fundacja robi jako otwarcie tej największej swojej części fizycznej, czyli Global Foundation firmy w Stanach Zjednoczonych. Bo ja tutaj po prostu nie do końca rozumiem może wątek, może dlatego jak gdyby podnoszę to pytanie.
No ja na to nie znam odpowiedzi. Może Przemek?
A jakie jest dokładnie pytanie o KF Global?
To nie było pytanie o KF Global, tylko jak się ma jedna rzecz względem drugiej, w sensie jak ma się teraz to, co było tutaj mówione, w stosunku do otwarcia Cash Foundation na giełdę papierów wartościowych i umiejscowienie tam, powiedzmy, przy olbrzymiej części finansowej akurat w Stanach Zjednoczonych.
No, to jest ciekawe, bo z tego co wiemy, dr Keshe tam podawał jakąś datę, chyba koniec ma tym, że ta firma nie jest nową firmą, tylko taką, którą wcześniej wykupił. I mówił o otwarciu tej firmy, ale taka oficjalna prezentacja czy przedstawienie chociażby członków zarządu, czy cokolwiek ta firma dokładnie będzie robić, to jeszcze przed nami, więc tutaj wszystko nie zostało do końca jeszcze dokończone w tym temacie. Zresztą dr Keshe co warsztat powtarza, mówi jeszcze z tydzień, dwa i to będzie oficjalnie przedstawione i jest to z jednej strony odzwierciedlenie struktury, jaka jest w Chinach, struktury finansowania, jaka jest w Chinach założona, tak jak tutaj było na przestrzeni ostatnich 2 warsztatów, że jest nie po to, żeby konkurować z nią, ale po to, żeby gdzieś replikować funkcję, którą ta firma chociażby w Chinach spełnia, a ta globalna KF Global w Stanach, zresztą dr Keshe się do tego odniósł, że będzie zbierać pieniądze, można powiedzieć, finansowanie swoich inwestycji i projektów, czyli jest tym ciałem takim finansowym, można powiedzieć, skarbnikiem i tym mechanizmem, który obraca w pewien sposób, będąc obecny na giełdzie papierów, czy tam giełdzie spółek jest w pewien sposób zarabia, obraca pieniędzmi i to, co w Chinach nie jest z kolei potrzebne, bo tam finansowanie na poziomie rządowym, z tego co się dowiadujemy, jest tip-top. Tak w Stanach w ten sposób kręcą się biznesy, są firmy obecne na giełdach i w ten sposób istnieją, funkcjonują i obracają kapitałem, więc myślę, że tutaj jeszcze w najbliższych tygodniach, co prawda dzisiaj na warsztacie nie było o tym, być może za tydzień czy za 2 usłyszymy kolejną część tego przedsięwzięcia, jak to będzie wyglądać i jak będzie operować, funkcjonować.
No dobra, dzięki bardzo.
No, dzięki Przemku. Tak więc obejrzyjmy następny fragment.
But in a way, when we explain, you see it very clearly. I would like to start with what I call the food. If you look at the body of the man, I always explain in all the teachings that the man does not need to eat, and man, what he eats is a small part of what he needs. What this means is, Brick, could you please always keep a picture, because we have a very weak transmission. If we lose it, we can go back into it. What is important is that we have the body of the man. Not a very good drawer, but let's see what we can do. In process of our eating, what we do in the world of science, we have not understood one part of the work. And this part of the work is, if you go back in all the teaching, I said, we take 80% of our energy from outside and 20% of what we eat. But another part of the teaching, which is important and you must have forgotten somewhere, we explained, now you understand why we received the 80%. You know what we always said, the stronger plasma feeds the weaker plasma. What you see as the body of the man is weaker plasma. Now that we understand the body of the man is not in a matter state and is in a Gansa state, then you understand how we are getting fed. At the same time, as now we understand that the soul of the man was within the structure of the man, it should not be very difficult for all of us to find out how we can feed the soul of the man, and how the soul of the man gets fed through the strength, through the universal dimensions of energies. Then we can ask a question, then why do we eat? How do we eat? What's the function of eating? In so many ways, we say we eat this and that, and it gets absorbed in the stomach, and then it becomes part of the body of the man. If you understood the technology of the plasma science in totality, you will understand that the body of the man, when you eat the food, it transfers to gases, to energy packs. So this should have given mankind a new understanding. You remember, you put the stronger to the weaker and you feed from it. Now every time you eat, part of the function of it is to create plasma condition in the body of the man, which allows what it needs to take from the environment of the space for its physical condition.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. I've lost the audio. Is it just me, or have we lost his audio?
We lost him.
Lost him.
Okay.
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 So what we going? Pardon?
Yeah, this is just a screen. This isn't the whiteboard, but you should be able to annotate on that. Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, should be no problem. I'm just going to increase. So in this process, what we said, now we understand that the plasma transfer comes through what we eat. The body of the man transfers the material which we digest into a gas state. So in that process, as it becomes a gas state, it becomes a weaker state of the gas. So in the process of itself, it creates a weak conditions so that it absorbs energy from the environment. So now you understand why 80% of the food comes from the outside and 20% is what the material has delivered to create a condition that the energy can be pulled from the environment. This is why we see the aura of the body of the man. Because the energy transfer from the itself, what is converted, creates a new condition one to absorb. This is, if understood fully, will explain why we run into diseases, why we run into old age, why at certain position and strength our body misfunctions. This, if understood, will change the game of the whole feeding, and it changes the game of medicine. Because now we manage to understand, and we do not need, as I said, to feed the body of the man. We only need to what we call place a weaker energy inside the body that in position of itself, it leads to absorption of new energies from environment of its atmosphere where it could be. So in this process, if you understand, the eating of the food is actually creating a weak position inside the body of the man with a constant cover of what he has. Just to, as it's weaker, it absorbs more energy from the environment. So the whole process of mankind connecting his eating to his food and life takes a different understanding from now on. Then you will understand in the due course, when we change the solid food or whatever food man takes into the gas state of the matter itself, then as you take the packages of the gases, depending on the weakness you create, you decide what you absorb from the environment of the space. This changes the whole game of feeding. This changes the whole national food security of the nations. We do not need to go and buy an apple. We need to create a condition of the apple which what it carries into the stomach of the body of the man. And in that condition, it absorbs what it needs from the environment. Depends as the knowledge develops to understand what the strength of which apple creates and absorbs what energy. Now, after years, you can fully understand why this 80% of the energy we always said it comes from the environment. The whole universal community, the whole work of what we call universe is on this basis. But man up to now has never understood. So when it comes to the time of disaster, when it comes to the point of deep space travel, we do not even need to put the matter or the gans of the matter in the body of the man. We just need to deliver the energy of the matter, what it needs to be absorbed from the environment of the space. This is how man will be fed even through the dimension of the strength of his soul. That through it, he will feed the body of the man in this collective interaction. Now, many of you should be able to understand, to develop technologies that it allows man to exist in the space independent of any food resources. This is what will be delivered through the new space technology. Creation of the environment to deliver, not creation of the matter to kill for. These technologies are the backbone of mankind to be able to enter in the dimension of the universal direction of the life, where you do not need to kill, but in a very simple way, you can enter an arena, a room, a cabinet, that the energy delivered gives you whatever you need and take from you whatever you don't need. The introduction of the new systems are in progress. In a coming time, we will show you the systems where you can enter a room and take what you need, balance your system in a way, walk away from cancer and walk in with what it needs. Is there a need for data collection per person? Not really, because there is another system which has already been developed by Keshe Foundation and all of you know it, but because you don't understand the implication of it, you have never followed the process. In this process, you will understand that the man enters. Let me close one and I go to that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, there's an echo.
Okay, now it's better.
Yeah.
So what it happens is that from now on, in the dimension of space technology, in the dimension of the disaster, we do not need to worry in how we can reach people, how we can feed people, how we can secure health. This is what are the major breakthroughs which will come with what we have and will go through the Chinese structure in the research centers. In this process, for the first time, we make man independent of the planet altogether, because now we understand the operation of the body of the man through its own structure. We always said that an atom is a plasma, has got a magnetic field, and we said that the gas is a plasma, has got a magnetic field. In past 72 hours, scientists in the world have confirmed and shown for the first time magnetic field of an atom. In a due course, we'll take it further, and then you can see the difference between the magnetic field strength of an atom and magnetic field strength of what we call a gas. And at the same time, the scientists have proven each atom magnetic field has a fingerprint of its own. So we can say if this atom is from iron, or this atom is from copper, or zinc, or hydrogen. The new development in technology, which is announced in South Korea, opens a new dimension, confirming the correctness of the Keshe Foundation technology as a plasma, as being a plasma and creating an interaction in a magnetic field in this environment. This is a major confirmation of the technology. We have already started trying to get in touch with the scientists developed, and now we can measure actually magnetic fields of one gas and compare it to an atom, see what's the dimension difference. And we can take it further because now the technology has become available for the first time to confirm the strength of the field of a single atom. I'm sure in due course the scientists will create a much stronger mini MRI that they can show even the plasma, the strength of the plasma of an electron. So what we started in developing and confirming the existence of the plasma and creation of its own field, now scientifically has been proven. We cannot show you the document and paper because I don't understand if we can do legally through what is just being published. Rick, do we have any shape or form that we can show this? Or is the copy?
Yeah, there is one. Let me just get it there. Hang on.
In a way, this confirms what we said. An atom is a plasma because it has the same as Earth. It creates its own magnetic and light around it. And for the first time, we can see this an atom is a single atom. And we're trying to get the single, what we call GANs to be tested, because then we can confirm each GANs has different strength. And that we can show how energy is transferred. Confirmation of the technology typically available. And if you understand this, and we from magnetic field of a lead or a copper or a zinc, then we can see it. This is the world's smallest MRI performance of a single atom. And where you see the, what you call the yellow lines, is the balanced magnetic field. So for the first time, the scientists have shown that an atom magnetic gravitational field interaction with this environment using MRI magnetic resonance is possible. And this confirms our own work on our developments for past years, which we confirm the atom is a plasma, and now a free plasma will show totally different reaction in a gas state than in an atomic state. And it is very interesting that how, as you read, the professors and the scientists can speak about direction of a spin and everything else which is available. This is a major breakthrough for confirmation of technology, confirmation of what we said, and now we can literally show different magnetic field and why gases work and how we can measure it from now on. Because the next steps from MRI, this is literally a visualization of what we showed in distance nano by putting two fields across each other in the path of the motion of the fields. Two field detectors could detect both and give us the balance, and we could see it. Now we see the same thing scientifically is available visually that it can confirm. So in this process, as we understand, as the dynamic condition of the plasma creates in its interaction with its environment, light and fields interaction leads to creation of it, a new cycle of science and technology has opened up. And in that process, we can even measure how much what we eat is needed by our body and what we do not need, and it converts back into the matter state. Can I have the board back, please? In this process, there is a need for understanding and of a number of what we call technologies. In the process, I have lost my thingy. I've lost my capability to draw.
Do you annotate? Can you?
I'm trying to do it here. I cannot reduce. I cannot.
Maybe you do the double click in the middle.
I've done everything. This is strange. On one screen, I see different than the other screen. It's okay. We'll reduce it and we come back to the other one. What is important is that in the process of interaction of the fields, we see different dimensions. We see different application. And in that process, we end up with a new understanding of even the functioning of the digestion system of the man. How do we digest things? How do we establish to understand up to now what we thought is actually not what we assume to be? In a way, if you understood what was spoken about in past few minutes, by eating food, we put the markers up. These are the energies we need from a space more of. We show a little of it. The universe brings the rest of it. And in that process, many of us now can start a new cycle of the operation of the work of the body of the man. And it changes a lot of things for a lot of us in totally understanding the physiology of the body of the man. How, with this new knowledge, we can change a lot of things. We can change totality of what we call work and life of the man on this planet. If we take the knowledge a step further, then we understand that there is a need for filling some gaps in the knowledge. There's a need for correcting some of the knowledge which has been gathered by now. Which means, in reality, we have to reconsider a number of teachings, bring them together, collectively understand what has been happening in our digestion system, what we calculated, what we assumed does not apply anymore, and in totality, a new look, a new understanding, even for the digestion system of the man is needed. Let me explain to you exactly what this means. The operation of the body of the man runs in 3 scales or in 3 levels at the same time. You have a scale or a dimension of what we call the energy you consume. You need an intermediary which allows the energy which is needed to be connected to what we call the construction of the physicality of the man. The soul of the man operates somewhere in this region. The physicality of the man operates somewhere in this region. And you need to bring the balance between these two. Somebody's microphone is open. You need to Rick, somebody's microphone is open. You need to bring and understand what is the connection between these two. Then you come to understand one thing: salt. If you look into
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Lost you at, if you look into, I think.
Yes, he dropped, yeah.
Can you hear
Hello,
me?
Mr. Keshe, can you hear me?
Hello, can I be heard?
Yes, you can barely hear you there.
It's okay, I have to change switch over. Just 1 second. Can you hear?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's better. Yes, thank you.
That's better, okay. So what you will understand in the operation of the body of the man is a very simple thing, that why salts are the main component of the body of the man. Without the salt, there is no life. Because the salts are the connection between what you call, I'm trying to get the other line back 1 second, please. The salts sit on this side. The S, what we call the radiation, sits on this side. Your metals, which the body of the man is made of, sit in the center. And then in that process, you understand clearly what the salts do. If you look at the salts, let's look at one bracket of it, which is the sodium, and then you have a potassium, you have a magnesium, and you have calcium. Then you look at the radiations on each level, where you have everything else. Rick, can you bring up the periodic table with both numbers, if you have access to, then people can see easier.
Okay.
In this process, you will see very quickly how part of the knowledge which has been taught before and never understood, now you understand. You will understand the salts play double game and the salts play energy game. What does this mean? If you look at the structure of what we call the salts, are you sharing? I need the ones with the double figures, the other figures underneath as well, like the one which says iron is 56 or 57.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. In this process, what you will see while Rick is trying to sort this out is a very interesting point. I have to take this. Oh, he took it off. Are you coming back?
Yeah, I'll just have to find a different image for that information. Okay, there's a, I think this is the one we want. Okay, let me put it back just a second.
Just 1 second, you carry on. Yes, that's the perfect one. So in this process, you will see something very strange, and people up to now never understood why we have salts, why the salts, why we depend on this salt for the pool structure and the salinity of the structure. What you will see is a very interesting effect. I try to, somebody's microphone is open. I try to explain this in a very simple way. And that is, if you pay a close attention to the whole process of the salts, you see something very interesting. Let's look at two salts. If you take sodium, I need to take a one. If you take sodium and then you take potassium, (22, 23) with 39, 40. You can see. If you look at 62, you compare with zinc, or you end up with copper. So now you understand why we need the salt. The salts, if you look at the sodium and chlor, look at the chlor, look at the sodium. 35, 23, 22, 57. The place mimics, because now we understand in the body of the man is not a matter state anymore, but it's a gas state. So you see how the understanding of the science of the man changes. The salts, in different combination of their work, mimic the metal, the element which makes the construction of the physicality of the man. And in that process, if you work backwards with the same system, in interaction between the salts themselves, you will find a very simple thing where you have, let's say, sodium and magnesium, both chloride, which is part of the salt of the body of the man. You get the interaction in difference between the two. So you have 24 minus 22, or 23 minus 24. Then you're left with hydrogen. So the body of the man, in the interaction of the salts with the dimension of the physicality, play both, mimicking the metal to get what they are connected to, and in interaction release the energy which the body needs to live. Then you understand how salinity brings different dimension of life and connection between the dimension of physicality and the dimension with the life of the man in the totality of understanding of the science. Those of you who can go deeper into this, those of you who can actually go and understand this in its fundamental structure, the work of the salts, the energy balance in gravitational magnetic fields, then you come to understand a full fundamental operation needed for life of the man in space. Then you understand why life depends on salt, because it's a connection between the energy of the man and connection with the physicality of the man. But as an intermediary, in different salinity, in different dilution, in different interaction, allows the creation and interconnection of the cells of the body of the man together. And then when you look at the lymph in the body of the man as a liquid, then you understand how it leads to the separation of the organs, because it's neutral. Whatever is, that's the kidney, in the liquid of the lymph of the body, stays separate, because I am balanced with what it is. If you're weaker, I can take. If you're stronger, I take from you. And in the same process is the energy giver and at the same time it can nourish the elements of the body of the man. Then if you can take the understanding a step further, you see the strangest part is that very simple, that you sit step by step on every level next to a radioactive material, which from it you can take energy, and from it it can give energy. If you look, neon, you have argon. Through centralization, through the vacuum condition of the body of the man, will give you everything you need. Now you understand, hopefully, fully, how the body of the man becomes to operate in the dimension of the physicality. Then those of you who are involved or get involved in the operation of the physicality of the man, those of you who get involved in the dimension of understanding the totality of the physicality of the man, you will understand there cannot be life on this planet without salt. Just 1 second, please. And in this process, many of you, especially those of you who are involved in agriculture, those of you who are involved in understanding
Hello, Mr. Keshe. We lost your voice there. Oh, I think he's dropped. Okay, bear with us another minute while Mr. Keshe reconnects.
Hello, can you hear me again?
Yes, go ahead.
Back.
Yes.
Yeah, we're trying to get everywhere, and at the moment systems are going crazy. So in this process, we understand a simple fundamental totality of the work of the body of the man. And that is half of the total understanding of work of the universe in creating physicality should be very clear to man. And if you understand this process, if you literally go into the detail of understanding of this technology, the way it's taught, and now you understand more of, you will come to realize one thing, that how, by having the access to the soul of the man, you can create the physicality of the man. And what conditions you need to create around the soul of the man to lead to the creation of the physicality. And if we all understand this, and if we all become wise to the totality of the knowledge, then we can understand how we can use the energy of the soul of the man to manifest the physicality of the man in any dimension, or if we come to understand how the lymph works, which is in a way the absorber of the energy from the universe. It's a dilution source. It's not just that it transfers energy from the food, from the stomach to the cells and back from the cells, what is not needed to the intestine. Then we understand a lot of things, even about the structure of the physicality of the man. How does our digestion system convert energy? How does our digestion system accepts energy? How do we we come to understand why part of our body in one place gives energy, but in one place absorbs energy? If you look in the structure of the intestine and
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So now if we look at the two.
No, dziękuję za wysłuchanie i obejrzenie tego materiału. No, zaczyna się ciekawie. Nie wiem. Jest ktoś, kto chciałby zabrać głos w tym temacie?
No, dzięki Janku. To może ja parę punktów streszczę i chciałbym się skupić na jednym aspekcie związanym właśnie z tym, co rysował dr Keshe, ale pokrótce może tylko przedstawię te tematy jeszcze raz, o których dr Keshe mówił, czyli po pierwsze to, co zawsze mówiliśmy o jedzeniu, 20%, które pochodzi, 20% energii, którą konsumujemy z jedzenia, a 80% z absorpcji z pól tego, co jest wokół nas poprzez zmysły, skórę. I tutaj dr Keshe właśnie tłumaczy, że poprzez wprowadzanie pokarmu do żołądka, poprzez wprowadzanie go właśnie w stan gansu i to w ciele, w dodatku w ciele jest w stanie tego słabszego gansu, warunku słabszego, który to powoduje, że uzyskujemy warunek, w którym karmimy się tym dodatkowo, tym, co już w zasadzie spożyliśmy. Czyli to spożywanie jest tylko i wyłącznie dosadzeniem tego nasionka, tych 20% po to, żeby te 80% pozostałe mogło w procesie właśnie balansowania, wyrównania potencjałów, żeby mogło zostać zaabsorbowane ze środowiska. Ale tak jak słyszymy, oprócz absorpcji też jest emisja, tutaj dr Keshe mówił o tym tuż na końcu. I jeśli chodzi o samo jedzenie, tutaj dowiadujemy się, że nie musimy jeść, w zasadzie tylko stworzyć warunek słabszego w naszym żołądku do absorpcji danego rodzaju energii. Także tutaj też wskazówka, myślę, że to jest też podobny temat, który poruszał ostatnio dr Keshe na publicznym, mówił o systemach, które działają z poziomu duszy. Tutaj mówimy właśnie o systemie, który działa z poziomu tworzenia tego warunku na poziomie plazmy, na poziomie energii. Zresztą to później zostało troszkę rozrysowane. Była też ciekawostka, nowinka technologiczna dla tych, co się interesują, może gdzieś słyszeli. Było to w różnych serwisach informacyjnych, że stworzyli taki mini MRI, czyli mini skaner, urządzenie, jak tutaj dr Keshe to przedstawiał, do mierzenia pola magnetycznego atomu. Jak o tym mówił, że przyda się w plazmie. To myślę, że wracamy do tego, o czym mówiliśmy rok, 2 lata temu też w kontekście GANY, w kontekście researchu, czyli robienia badań, że przydadzą się, będą potrzebne nowe urządzenia, aparatura, żeby mierzyć, rozpoznawać, wykrywać rodzaj plazmy, siłę plazmy, rodzaj gansu i tak dalej. I to w zasadzie się dzieje z różnych innych stron, przychodzą rozwiązania technologiczne bazujące na, można powiedzieć, tej tradycyjnej gałęzi technologii, którą podąża obecnie przemysł. I te zdjęcia w pewien sposób dzięki Jarku potwierdzają to też mówi, że atom to plazma i tutaj widzimy tą żółtą linię właśnie balansu pól. Także widzimy, że obecna technologia też postępuje już na tyle, że może się przydać też w kontekście tego, o czym się uczymy, o czym mówimy w plazmie. Jeśli, Jarku, przewiniesz z 5 minut dalej, tutaj było już konkretnie o solach, ten temat jest tutaj takim głównym wątkiem całego też reszty tego warsztatu, właśnie tutaj dzięki Jarku. I od lewej doktor Keshe rysuje nam energię, po prawej mamy fizyczność, po środku mamy sól. W zasadzie moglibyśmy sobie to, tak jak w mikro, tak i w makro, moglibyśmy sobie to przedstawić też w kontekście czegoś zupełnie innego, czyli chociażby tego naszego boksu do produkcji CO2, gdzie mamy jedną płytkę metalową, fizyczną, można powiedzieć, mamy jedną płytkę nano, to sobie też już mówiliśmy chociażby o nanomiedzi wyłapującej węgiel, izotopy węgla, węgiel 14, redukujący do węgla 12, to już myślę totalnie inny temat, inna bajka, ale możemy sobie tak to też rozszerzać, tak tłumaczyć. I po środku mamy środowisko soli, czyli środowisko, które w tym balansie, można powiedzieć, pośredniczy, przewodniczy. Tutaj doktor Keshe mówił o podwójnej grze, że gra podwójną grę i gra też właśnie tą grę energii. Więc tu widzimy, że jest tym pośrednikiem, tym środowiskiem pomiędzy, które tworzy warunki dla tego, co się balansuje, żeby mogło się manifestować w fizyczności. I tu doktor Keshe też mówi, że w zasadzie całe nasze życie zależy od soli, to jest to, co łączy energię z fizycznością i po stronie energii. Tutaj doktor Keshe też, gdzie mamy, powiedzmy, na zielono zakreślone, tutaj też doktor Keshe mówił w kontekście duszy, a tutaj mamy fizyczność. I co jest ciekawe też jest to, że jeśli zapamiętamy sobie ten obrazek mniej więcej, energia / dusza, sól i po prawej fizyczność. Teraz jeśli, Jarku, przewiniemy gdzieś tam 5 czy 10 minut w przód, gdzie jest układ okresowy omówiony, zdjęcie, o właśnie, dzięki, dokładnie ten fragment tutaj. I tutaj doktor Keshe co zrobił, to jest to, co mówił na poprzednim wykładzie, tutaj dorysował to, co znajduje się po drugiej stronie układu okresowego. Zresztą o tym mówił już wcześniej, że no też różne są interpretacje, jak wiemy, różne osoby przedstawiają swoje zrozumienia układu okresowego i jak on powinien wyglądać, a tutaj w pewien sposób doktor Keshe, no mieliśmy to na poprzednim wykładzie lepiej, dokładniej też powiedziane, gdzie on to przenosi co prawda na drugą stronę, teraz przenosimy z prawa na lewo i mówi, trzeba przesunąć wszystko jeden rząd i tak jakby obniżyć wszystko o jedną kolumnę w dół, więc tu po kolei idąc, o ile się nie mylę, będziemy mieli neon, zaraz obok sodu, później będziemy mieli argon, później pod spodem neon, argon, krypton. No, o tym już nie mówiliśmy, także chyba się zgadza, bo neon, doktor Keshe mówił w kontekście sodu, argon w kontekście potasu. No i teraz mając tę tablicę Mendelejewa narysowaną w taki sposób, możemy, mając w pamięci gdzieś to co przed chwilą omawialiśmy, doktor Keshe mówi tak, tu mieliśmy energię. Tutaj mieliśmy metale. Może niefortunny dobór kolorów, nie wiem jaki tutaj kolor będzie na tym tle lepiej funkcjonował, w każdym razie tutaj mamy jeszcze gorzej fioletowy. Tutaj mamy materię, tutaj mamy energię, a po środku doktor Keshe rysował solę. No i w zasadzie, jeśli sobie przenosimy jeden obrazek na drugi, to zobaczymy, że te elementy, które tworzą solę, chociażby chlorki, są właśnie pośrodku tej interpretacji i być może to jest jedno wytłumaczenie, czyli zrozumienie, czemu dr Keshe lubi w taki sposób podchodzić do układu okresowego, bo podążamy właśnie w stronę energii poprzez to, co ją spowalnia, to tworzy warunki właśnie do samej materii. I też ciekawe jest w zasadzie te liczenia, które tutaj widzimy, czyli jeśli zobaczymy sobie na kombinację, na dodawanie na przykład siły pól różnego rodzaju soli, tutaj mieliśmy sód z potasem, mamy coś w okolicach tych metali, czyli widzimy jak amalgamacja, jak połączenie, jak interakcja soli między samymi sobą prowadzi chociażby do kreacji siły pól metali, więc z jednej strony przenosimy się, tak jak tutaj tą strzałkę narysowałem od lewej do prawej, chociażby w kreowaniu, w tej kaskadowej kreacji, rozwijaniu się tego kwiata życia, przenosimy się właśnie od tej strony radiacyjnej, radioaktywnej, gazów szybkich, energetycznych, neon, argon, krypton. Przenosimy się właśnie poprzez sole, które z kolei też są pośrednikiem i można powiedzieć filtrem do tego, pośrednikiem dlatego, że tworzy każde pośrednie kolejne elementy do interakcji, a filtrem, bo później w kolejnych interakcjach pośredniczy filtruje, gra taką rolę właśnie dostarczyciela dobrania i odbierania energii, regulacji, można powiedzieć, uczestniczy w tym procesie balansu. Z kolei jeśli sobie gdzieś tam odejmiemy masę atomową tych chociażby dwóch elementów obok siebie, magnezu i sodu, mamy tą różnicę w granicach 1, przepraszam, to jeszcze była druga rzecz, to było 35 i 22, czy tam 23 dodane, zależy jak sobie sód policzymy, czyli mieliśmy tutaj potas bodajże dodany. I też widzimy 57, czyli to jest z kolei żelazo. Wcześniej mieliśmy cynk, miedź, teraz żelazo. Widzimy, że te elementy w ciele pojawiają się nieprzypadkowo i skąd one się pojawiają, czyli złączenia się siły pól soli, można powiedzieć. A z kolei różnica tych sił pól soli w większości przypadków, czy chociażby w tym jednym, który tutaj mieliśmy narysowany, daje nam na przykład jeden wodór, czyli ten zastrzyk energetyczny, czyli ta energia, której potrzebujemy. I w pewien sposób, skoro mówimy już o energii, którą potrzebujemy, to w pewien sposób można powiedzieć, że tutaj w tej dywizji, w tym odejmowaniu się siły pól tych dwóch elementów, które często widzimy w postaci soli, dajemy właśnie tą porcję energetyczną, czyli w pewien sposób wracamy gdzieś na początek tego cyklu. Możemy już go rozpatrywać z kolei w innych proporcjach, czy w innej sile pól. W każdym razie tutaj myślę, że ciekawa rozkminka, coś nad czym można sobie posiedzieć, posłuchać tego raz, drugi. Wiem, że te fragmenty zostały przez chłopaków pocięte, wycięte, wyselekcjonowane, wrzucone na kanał na YouTubie, na Facebooku gdzieś to też zostało podzielone, więc te fragmenty z 282, czyli poprzedniego warsztatu i dwa fragmenty, gdzie jest tutaj tablica Mendelejewa omawiana, to jest jeden, drugi będziemy słuchać w niedzielę. Te trzy fragmenty są selekcjonowane, żeby można było sobie na spokojnie posłuchać, zrozumieć, złożyć do kupy to, co jest zaprezentowanie na przestrzeni, na szerokości w zasadzie dwóch warsztatów. I na koniec taka sentencja, że poprzez dostęp do duszy możemy tworzyć fizyczność w każdym jej wymiarze. I na przykładzie soli, na przykładzie tego, co sobie tutaj rysujemy, na przykładzie pudełka CO2, czy jakiegokolwiek, czy zrozumienia tego plazmy w zasadzie w jakiejkolwiek innej skali, mikro czy makro, widzimy tutaj potwierdzenie tego, jak to wszystko funkcjonuje, chociażby w naszym ciele, ale jeśli w naszym ciele, to tutaj na zakończenie była też taka informacja, że właśnie limfa jest tą neutralną formą, która odseparowuje organy oraz daje energię i odżywia. Dlatego też te wszystkie nasze nerki, wątroby i inne organy nie są ze sobą razem zmieszane, tylko jest coś, co spełnia funkcję, można można powiedzieć, takiego rozgranicznika, separatora, który pozwala na oddzielenie się tych warunków, stworzenie bariery, jakiegoś rodzaju napięcia też plazmatycznego, które jak balon trzyma jedną rzecz po jednej stronie, a drugą rzecz po drugiej stronie, żeby te aspekty indywidualnej kreacji w danym, konkretnym, ustalonym środowisku solnym mogły przebiegać niezależnie od tego, co jest po drugiej stronie ścianki. I to w zasadzie tyle z mojej strony. Zapraszam tutaj ciekawe tematy, sola, limfa, układ okresowy. Myślę, że ciekawie obrazowo mamy to w końcu przed oczami. Możemy sobie to prześledzić, jakie jest tutaj tok rozumowania. Dzięki.
No dzięki, Przemku. Jakieś pytania? Że spróbujemy razem na nie odpowiedzieć jakoś w jakiś sposób. Dobrze, jeśli nie ma pytań, tak więc zapraszam też również na tą następną część tego wykładu. Myślę, że niejednokrotnie ktoś to obejrzy i dołączymy to dalsze zrozumienie i może nabierzemy jakiegoś rozpędu i pójdziemy do przodu. Nie o krok, a może o dwa nawet. Także dziękuję za dzisiaj, dziękuję za przetłumaczenie tego warsztatu. I do usłyszenia. Tak więc to były 274 warsztaty poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim z czwartku 11 lipca 2019 roku. Tak więc dobrej nocy. Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy. I musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.